And we're back, as Evan Couch used to say, with the new student media podcast. Not the new, but the new fall quarter episode. I'm your co-host, Deacon Tuttle, joined by the elusive Isaac Hinson.
Elusive. I don't
Yeah,
know if I've ever been described as elusive. That's very fun for me.
yeah, I do enjoy the alliteration. I used to call Evan the enigmatic because I couldn't pronounce it right
Ah,
sometimes. And then I figured, we'll piggyback off of that. So, how you doing today, Isaac?
I'm doing all right. I'm really tired. I got home super late last night. I was in Issaquah to go see the new Exorcist movie and didn't get
Oh,
home until really late. But other than that, I'm doing well. How are you doing, man?
wonderful. I'm doing great. I'm ready to be back. It feels interesting to be in the last quarter of doing this and to now it's just like a normal thing. I've been doing the podcast for a while, and then I think that is a transition. I think I know how to do that to our most tenured guest now, to Katherine Camarata. Thank you very much for being here.
Thanks for having me. This is, I think, my third time on the student media podcast. First time with Isaac, so I'm
Mhm.
excited to be here. Thanks for having me on with all
Of
the
course.
complications included.
So, what
Yeah,
do you want
this
to
is
tell?
my
Go ahead.
huh? Oh, I was just say this is my second time. So I
Ooh.
was on as a guest last year.
Mhm.
And then now I'm here doing the interviewing, which is fun for me.
That is exciting.
Which
The tables have turned.
Do you want to tell us what the new change is? Last time you came on, you were EIC of Observer, and now you got a new position.
Yes. So Pulse had a position open up for the lead editor, editor in chief, whatever one might call it. And so I applied for that, and I get to stick around for one more quarter at student media, which is exciting. It was a bit unexpected. And so I was at the Observer for 3 quarters last year. Everyone probably knows that, but I'm explaining in case people don't. And then now I'm here at Pulse for 1 quarter, just kind of like passing along my PowerPoints and things of that nature to the associate editor, Lily, and all the other editors at Pulse right now, like Gunnar and Megan. And it's a great team. It's a great group of people, same as over at the Observer where Isaac is still. And then Deacon, you're podcast manager at Pulse, like you're part of the team as well. And so it's been a really fun transition, definitely like different to do newspaper versus magazine, like weekly
Mhm.
publication versus quarterly publication, but still with Jen. And that was kind of what got me into that position to begin with, and then made that shift for me.
What's been the biggest change so far in the transition period, and is there anything unexpected so far that has shocked you about the process?
I thought that doing an 80-page flat plan was a bit shocking. Like I was like, wow, normally I do like an 8 or a 12-page flat plan. And then we did the orientation issue that was like 48 pages, something to that
Hmm.
effect. And so 80 is a lot. We got to all sit down and do this big commission meeting, which was like one big story assignment and photography and designer assignment meeting. So that's the one big difference, right? It's like little meetings throughout the quarter for the Observer versus like large meetings at the beginning and end of the quarter
Yeah.
Pulse. But nothing too shockingly different. Like all the lesson plans are relatively the same and make a lot of sense to go in the same order. And we definitely change it up a little bit because we have more time to get the information out to people in class. But it is like very similar, and there are a lot of crossovers, but overall it's like in the same classroom. So I didn't even realize that when applying. It's like feels very, very familiar, but in a good way, I would say.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's been really fun for sure. It's a great blessing to stay part of it, and then to get to be part of the social media, and because there isn't a social media manager for Pulse right now, so Jen was like, "Oh, okay. Do you want to do that?" And just you get to do that now. And I was like, "Okay, cool. I'll do my best." And so I'm just doing my best with that. She wanted us to be more active in the downtime, so to speak. So while we're waiting to publish stories and post about that, she wants us to have some kind of content. So we're trying to go like a fun, fresh route. I do check everything with my editorial staff. I'm not just commandeering the social media, I swear.
Everything is yours. It's just an autocracy here.
It all goes through you though.
It does. It really does. And I'm hoping to get more contributions from other staff members soon for socials, because I come up with as much as I can, and I have like a little list of real ideas, and it's been real fun. But I need some some more ideas. I feel like soon, if anyone listening has any ideas for a Pulse reel, hit us up. cwoopulsemagazine@gmail.com.
We need that. We know we have an audience of about 200 to 500 every episode.
Hey,
No comments. Where are the comments at? Are these all?
where are the comments?
Slacking.
Who is this? Is it just Jen? She's just filling it up.
All 200
The Gen bots.
The
Or
Gen
bot
bots.
army.
bots. She just goes to a computer lab and opens every computer and turns podcasts to get you those plays, you know. She does what she can, right? She's out there hustling all the time.
Oh, for sure. She has time to fill.
She does, right? I mean, in between tennis, she's got to do something.
All season. So, Katherine, what's it like going into some of the writing process for magazine things, comparing to the Observer process and newspaper writing? Have you thought anything about? I mean, I'm sure you've thought about it, but do you want to tease what some of your writing could be like and helping out with that area of things?
Yeah, absolutely. So, so for the question, like, how does magazine style differ from newspaper, and then what are we looking at going forward, like idea-wise? For sure. So newspaper is definitely more like a lot of just like hard-hitting fact stories, maybe politics focused. Maybe if there's like a protest, you would go cover that, or an event. There's a lot of events coverage that goes on in the newspaper, on campus specifically, and that kind of thing doesn't really happen so much in Pulse because it only comes out once a quarter, so it's not very timely. So that's not so much the focus in the magazine. There are some differences stylistically. We both use like the AP style book, love it or hate it. But, you know, and then the magazine's like in present tense, which I thought was like an interesting difference. It's like the main characteristic difference between the two writing styles I noticed is that newspaper's always in past tense and magazine's always in present tense. And it is interesting. I think the present tense kind of absorbs you more in the story. It's more for like feature stories. It's more telling people's stories, and they're evergreen, as Jen has taught me the term. You know, it's like timeless stories versus timely stories. So that's one big distinction there. But we still have a lot of kind of similar ideas to the ones that we've had at the Observer. Like I had a column at the Observer called Breaking the Stigma, and a lot of our ideas that were pitched for Pulse this quarter were kind of like in that vein, wanting to talk to people about their lived experiences that are maybe underrepresented in some way, or that it would be just interesting for people to learn more about. Like I'm writing one on, I feel like I can say this. I mean, if Observer steals it, it's fine. But
I don't plan on it. So
for sure.
Unless it's good. So
we do have an inside man right here, so be careful.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyhow,
I was gonna ask if you were writing anything this quarter. So
I thought I'm gonna do 2 stories. I would do more, but it's like there's not much room in the magazine. Like there was always room for me to write in the newspaper. It was needed sometimes, and then in the magazine, it's like I feel like I'm just going to do 2. Otherwise, I would be taking up too much space, which is kind of nice. It's nice if you want a little less work consistently. But then the Observer really helps you like sharpen your skills to add more comparison there. Yeah, I forget. Oh, I was going to write about polyamory, which I'm really excited about, like breaking stigma polyamory, because they, I mean, to me, the interesting point there is that they don't have like marriage rights in our country right now. And so I just think diving into that point and then talking to people that have that experience, because it's really like becoming more and more standard, and it's so free flowing. So that I'm excited to dive deeper into. I'm definitely in the infancy stages of it. I'm not gonna lie. I've been focusing on PowerPoints and social media, trying to keep my head above water, but we're doing good. And I think it's gonna turn out really good. We've got other breaking the stigma topics too, some about covering like disabilities, some like a couple different topics that actually touch on disability within this section of the magazine. So I think it's going to be a really interesting section, a really interesting issue. And so that's one big theme, but then we might go in like a more like spooky Halloween direction in terms of imagery. Yeah, I really want like a striking cover that you're like, that's the Pulse fall 2023 cover. That looks insane. Yeah. That's kind of the vibe I want. And Dylan seems on board, our photographer.
I was gonna ask who your main collaborator is for the cover so far, and if that was Dylan.
Yeah, I think so. Generally, Jen was saying that the lead photographer, the director of photography would decide the cover pretty much, and that I'm sure I'll give input and I'll have a vote, but I think it's pretty much just as much up to Dylan as me from what I was perceiving. So we'll see how it all goes down For sure. And it's also going to be based on the stories, right? Like I really wanted to do like a werewolf thing. Like in a way it's like transformations, but I don't know if we're going to be able to do that, if we're going to be able to pull that off, if Dylan's going to want to pull that off. So maybe my ideas don't get chosen. We'll see what happens.
How is collaboration different at Pulse for you than it was at the Observer?
Um, I feel like I'm just, since I know that I'm not gonna be here for very long at Pulse, I'm really just trying to be like even like less of a presence slightly. Like I feel very present in the Observer, but what's really cool is Lily's been presenting every PowerPoint with me. I actually really recommend this for you guys in the Observer. If like having two people present every PowerPoint, it really helps. It helps the class flow and it makes me feel like supported up there to where I can like answer more questions and be like around the room more. And so I just have never thought to ask someone to always be presenting with me. I always thought like one person or the other would present, right? In that format. Whereas the Observer, that's kind of what we had going on. Like one person, one editor or another editor would present a PowerPoint about a certain topic for the lesson. And here it's always me and somebody else. And I think that's been really nice and really cool. In
Kind of
terms
creates the effect of like you're talking with people instead of talking at people.
Right. And I think that was like, and I never wanted that to be the vibe. And I just was after like feeling like doing that, just that first PowerPoint where I was like knowing that I was kind of training or helping her learn how to present a little bit and her doing that with me in that regard, I was like, wow, this is just really a great format. Like I definitely would have done that sooner had I known that that would work really, really well. And it gets the class more integrated with everybody. Like it's like the editorial staff is presenting the lessons, not just like one editor or something like that, you know. But I'm still like rocking those PowerPoints. Like I still make all the PowerPoints, and then she's a great presenter. Like the whole editorial staff's been really lovely. They're all new editors, so they're just learning as we go, and I'm learning a bit as we go because I've never done like editor position at the magazine before. I've contributed before, but I haven't done an editor position there. Sorry if I'm way off topic. I feel like I rambled.
Huh? Oh no.
No, I was gonna say that I think that's a really cool thing about Pulse is that this quarter especially, there's just so much new like perspectives that are gonna be there, and I just can't wait for the deep dives, especially on the topics you're talking about. That and when we first had you on, when we like debuted, you know, breaking the stigma and how passionate you were with that, the ability to even have an even longer section in Pulse, because that's the beauty of the magazine writing and even the narrative. I think that will add to the flavor and like being able to tell people's stories like even more in a way, like adding to the voice. So that's just really exciting. And I also think that's like something that we're looking forward to with Pulse Perspectives too. Did you want to speak about either one of those things? I kind of threw a lot at you.
Oh no, I love that you brought up Pulse Perspectives. That was like a nice segue, and it's exciting to be able to try to put this page into action that Noah had gotten started with Jen, and then a lot of people wrote things to contribute that we're going to potentially edit and be able to share now. And we got the page launched. My perspective is the only one up, but I'm hoping to get one up by tomorrow. I know Lily wrote one about like what the shoe that you pick says about you last quarter, which I think is really fun, really fresh. We're gonna have people writing about their perspectives, right? So whether it's something lighthearted and fun or something more serious, so like an opinion piece, like an editorial type vibe, if you want to take it a political direction or a current events direction, you could even do a little events coverage. If you really, I doubt people are going to be like super leaning into that. So I don't think there's going to be like much crossover with the Observer. I did think about that, because our motto is keeping our finger on the pulse of like campus happenings and trends, because we want to open the door for people to cover like current events or events if they want to. But that's I think more people are going to be interested in doing like reviews, pieces on their just like personal experience. Like I know someone wants to talk about like their polycysterian, like their ovarian cystic disorder. They want to like talk about their experience with that, which I think is really interesting. That's kind of along the line of the destigmatization content you're talking about. And so anyone wanting to talk, or like someone wants to talk about like 10 gadgets they think are overhyped, specifically in the vein of child's gadgets or something like that. So Pulse Perspectives are going to have a lot, like very broad range of what they're about, but they're contributed by like all of the different editorial staffers, even photographers, even designers, because in Pulse, for those that don't know, we have photographers, designers, graphic designers, and then writers, and those are our sections, so to speak. Like there's sections in the newspaper. I don't know if I answered all the points in the question.
Did absolutely. Is there oh, I'm trying to think. Well, I can give a little tease of something that I wrote maybe. I am passionate about comic books, and I would love to add that. I have my own blog unofficially. I just have a lot of things that I've written and kind of styled out in blog format, but just not submitted. And I think that this is like I'm excited to show people kind of my passion for comics and stuff. And then in the past, last quarter in Pulse, I wrote a comic script and kind of turned that in. And I was like, maybe this people might enjoy this. And then I thought I'd give a little bit of my like input into like the poll, like the piece would be linked to it, but the piece would be about my mindset into creating comics and how I grew up and like how I was introduced to the medium and stuff.
I think that'd be really cool, like a BTS, like here's my comic strip, and then here's my like behind the scenes, like how I got into it, or how you might find yourself into it as well. I think that'll be a really interesting Pulse perspective by Deacon. I'm excited. We would take one from
I'm really feeling the FOMO, guys. Frankly.
Oh my gosh, I feel you. I want you, Pulse. I'm sad that you're over there.
I know. I wanted to. I texted Jen about if you guys needed any more writers like 5 days before the quarter started, and she was like, no, we're solid.
Okay, Jen,
are you serious?
And so I was like, okay, Jen, I guess
to this in real time.
okay.
Yeah, we need her. Huh? We need her right now.
I asked her, I was like, where is Isaac? Yeah. Like I thought Isaac was coming to class.
I thought I was too. I thought I was too.
I feel like she and I need to talk about this. This is weird.
I think it's a little past ad drop at this point.
I know you can't join now, but that's like that's wonky. I'm just gonna leave it at that. That's my official comment as my lead editor comment on that.
Yeah, the rest can be off the record. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm shook, Jen, if you end up watching this.
I'm gonna have to superimpose the response after editing and everything. We'll figure this out together.
Darn it.
Isaac, do you have any closing questions or anything before we're wrapping up here?
Yeah, well, importantly, are you having a good time there? Are you having fun with Pulse?
Yes, it's very fun. I'm not saying Observer is not fun. It's just like a lot more
it's a totally different vibe. It's an entirely different thing.
It's like high stress, more work, but also different. You're just rewarding in different ways. And I really like Pulse because it's just very creative and very fun. And I've just been trying to get the social media going. So maybe
I've been enjoying the social media.
That's sweet. Thank you.
Yeah.
I need to think about what are my posts this coming week. I'm trying to do like 3 a week, and that's hard. It's harder than it seems to get 3 posts a week out, but it's been really fun, like truly enjoyable experience. Definitely want to collab with the Observer in terms of like an event in November. There's talks and speculation of an event in November, listeners.
Oh, really? Rumors?
Yeah, just like a Pulse event. I think Observer should get on board and be part of.
I'll tell you what, this is news to me. So
there you go. That'd be amazing.
Thank you, Katherine, for coming on. Thank you for being the third time is still the charm. It was never not the charm. So well, I'm sure we'll do it. I know that we'll do it when Pulse launches at the end of the quarter and get to see maybe like where the design and the inspirations came like initially here, and then what the finished product's like is going to be so exciting to see the cover and see what everything is about.
I'm excited to see it too. I have no idea exactly how it's going to turn out, but that's the exciting part of it. I kind of want to like sit around a throne of Pulse when it comes out.
Yes,
that would be a great post.
We got to do that. And we could do that for the Observer if you want to do a shoot.
True. Yeah.
You guys have
totally.
Stacks, I feel. Okay.
Well, I'll tell you what, we have plenty of backlog. So.
Oh, there we go. We got to get rid of some of those old orientation issues from spring 2022.
Yeah. Then we're gonna have to do a ×5 on the production company. Is gonna be like, what is going on here?
I know, right? Well, thank you so much for having me. I really do appreciate coming on here 3 times. It's always been fun, Deacon. You've always kept it fresh. And Isaac, you were a great addition. You did a great job on the show.
Thank you. It's appreciated.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna cure this FOMO. All right, we're gonna make sure that the synergy is all around. We'll put some observer crew on here. We'll make it an even balance here.
You
Okay.
gotta clear the air or something. I gotta figure out. I gotta catch my bearings after hearing that.
All right, guys. Well, yeah, thanks for the first episode. We're kicking off the fall quarter and excited.
Let's go.
All right, guys.
Thanks, listening.
Later.
Bye.